latest news on your $2,000 fourth stimulus check update and recurring stimulus check update. A Republican lawmaker known for spearheading Donald Trump's tax cuts back in 2017 is saying that Democrats have a great chance of passing spending bills by October. What? This is very surprising to hear from this Republican. Democrat Senator KYRSTEN Sinema is still against the price tag of the stimulus bill that her party is currently working on, saying, "I simply won't back a $3.5 trillion stimulus bill." How will these affect the negotiations for Democrats? This really isn't a surprise to me. Has a timeline been announced? We'll be discussing all of these and more in today's video, so make sure you guys stick around to the end. But first, I just want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And for those who are brand new to the channel, we cover all things personal finance, stimulus check updates, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, and of course, stimulus package updates. So if you have not already, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell. That way you're notified as soon as I release new videos and updates. All right, first up, here's your daily update on the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the stimulus bill. A Republican lawmaker known for spearheading former President Donald Trump's tax cuts back in 2017 is saying that Democrats have a great chance of passing spending bills this October. Is this really coming from a Republican? What exactly did he say about this one? Let's see here.
Now to Washington news. House Democrats pushing forward President Biden's economic agenda this week. Join us now with what comes after the narrow vote to approve a $3.5 trillion budget plan is Congressman Kevin Brady of the 8th District of Texas. He is the ranking member of the House Ways and Means Committee. You don't have a crystal ball, Congressman, but what do you think the odds are that both of these, the infrastructure and the reconciliation deal, are both completed by the end of next month?
You know, it could be good. I think Democrats have a lot of momentum after this week's vote. I don't think anyone dreamed that the speaker would be able to, in effect, bully every member of her conference into giving a green light to these tax increases. But she did. And Ways and Means Democrats, 2 weeks from this morning, will begin marking up, that is, voting on a package of tax hikes. We assume somewhere around $2 trillion. But up to them. And I think, you know, right now they've got more of a green light for tax hikes than they did a week ago.
Representative Kevin Brady, the Texas Republican who took a leading role in pushing former President Donald Trump's sweeping tax cut bill in 2017. He says Thursday that he thinks Democrats will be able to force two massive stimulus bills or spending bills through Congress before October. CNBC's Joe Kernan asked Brady for his thoughts on the odds that Democrats would be able to pass both the bills in the House before the end of September, given what's expected to be a lengthy markup process. The odds could be good, Brady replied to Squawk Box's interview. I think Democrats have a lot of momentum after this week's vote. I don't think anyone dreamed that the speaker would be able to, in effect, bully every member of her conference into giving a green light to these tax increases, but she did. Now, if a Republican has gone on record to say that the Democrats have a good chance to pass this bill, I think that's probably a good sign. Republicans rarely say anything good about the Democrats, so this statement by Kevin Brady is definitely quite a surprise. His wild guess, or maybe prediction, could actually be spot on if you think about it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did round up all the Democrats and had them all vote unanimously in support. Now, of course, the Democrats' biggest challenges so far was the group of moderates that did not want to vote on the budget resolution unless they voted on the infrastructure bill first. The negotiations with the moderates took a long time, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she pulled through nonetheless. And so now we're just waiting for the critical target dates that the Democrats mentioned, specifically September 15th and October 1st. Now on September 15th, they will be finalizing the legislative text for the stimulus bill, so we'll be getting huge news by then. Meanwhile, they plan to vote on both the infrastructure bill and the stimulus bill before October 1st. They're currently busy writing portions of the bill, so it's going to take a while, you know, probably another 10,000 page bill, right? Before we actually get news on the next big move forward. Kevin Brady's thoughts on that might not actually be that much of a wild guess. But let's continue here. It says that the condescending tone from Brady, who is retiring from Congress, came in a stark contrast to a defiant House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who on Wednesday vowed to do everything he can to stop the multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure and social spending plans backed by President Joe Biden. It'll be over my dead body because I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it. This came from McCarthy. Now, it seems like there are some Republicans who do not share the opinion of the majority of their party, and Kevin Brady is one of them, or at least in this particular case. Now, maybe the recent events of the Democrats uniting together have changed the minds of some Republicans, but who knows? Now, as for Kevin McCarthy, I doubt he'll ever say anything similar to Kevin Brady's statement. Still, Brady's tone may reflect the thinking of other members of the GOP caucus who have otherwise watched as Democrats leveraged slim majorities in the House and Senate to muscle through President Biden's sweeping economic agenda. Democrats hope their go big approach will help them retain control over both chambers in their critical 2022 midterm, while Republicans attack Democrats for fiscal mismanagement and sparking inflation. Now, Democrats have shown that they're skillful in handling slim majorities in their recent sessions, which could actually be a good sign for the upcoming final vote for next month. Now we really have to wait. The Democrats want to get all this done as soon as possible, and they are working on the stimulus bill to advance the Build Back Better agenda of the Biden administration. The stimulus bill that they're working on is the biggest by far at $3.5 trillion. Now, some of the provisions include Medicare expansion, an extension of the child tax credits, free 2 years of community college, tax hikes for the wealthy and corporations, Social Security raises, housing credit, and a lot more. I mean, I could probably go on and on since there's really a lot that the Democrats want to be able to change and improve in this particular stimulus bill. Now, a fourth stimulus check and monthly stimulus checks still remain to be discussed. There have been calls for these checks before from the Democrats, but so far it hasn't really been discussed yet in this stimulus bill. Will they include a fourth stimulus check in this bill? People still feel the need for these checks, and I'm reading you guys' comments every single day, so it's not like these stimulus checks are unnecessary. Now, with a massive budget of $3.5 trillion, surely they could squeeze at least a fourth stimulus check in there, right? We'll just have to wait and see. Nothing is definite just yet until the day they actually sign this into law. So I don't want you guys to get your hopes up or anything just yet. But what do you guys think though? Drop me a comment down below. Let's discuss it. Up next, Democrat Senator KYRSTEN Sinema is still against the price tag of the stimulus bill that her party is working on, saying, I simply won't back a $3.5 trillion spending bill. But why though, right? Let's get into the details here. KYRSTEN Sinema still opposes her party's plans for a $3.5 trillion party line spending bill, and she's not up for a negotiation about it, as House Democratic leaders hold back Sinema's own Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill in order to push the Arizona Democrat and Senator Joe Manchin to support a multi-trillion-dollar spending bill. Sinema is making it crystal clear that her mind cannot be changed, and that applies even as her own legislation becomes a bargaining chip in House Democrats' internal discussions. Now, this is a very tough situation for the Democrats. On top of being against the $3.5 trillion stimulus price tag, it turns out that KYRSTEN Sinema also is not open to negotiations about it. Remember, the Democrats need every single vote in the party to be able to move their bills forward. Losing just one vote could be a critical failure for the party, and it could also lead to even more Democrats changing their vote. So what are they going to do now? Although KYRSTEN Sinema is saying that she's not open to negotiations, I really doubt that's true. They will definitely have discussions about this, and one way or another, there's going to be a compromise that they're going to have to make. Maybe KYRSTEN Sinema wants to add something more from her agenda, and then maybe she'll support the price tag. That is a very simplified scenario, but I'm just trying to make sure you guys get the picture here. This really is just how things go. There will be negotiations on negotiations on negotiations. But let's see what her statement was regarding this price tag. The $550 billion bipartisan infrastructure bill is a historic win for our nation's everyday families and employers, and like every proposal, should be considered on its own merits. This came according to Sinema. Proceedings in the U.S. House will have no impact on KYRSTEN's views about what is best for the country, including the fact that she will not support a budget reconciliation bill that costs $3.5 trillion. So that's her statement through her spokesperson, and she made it very loud and clear again. She will not be supporting a $3.5 trillion price tag. Now, the Democrats will have to work hard to convince her if they don't want to have to lower the price tag. There's also Senator Joe Manchin to worry about here, as he also said roughly the same thing as KYRSTEN Sinema. Kind of a terrible situation for Democrats to be in right now. Very close to the finish line, yet so far away. But what do you guys think about this? Is this $3.5 trillion price tag really too massive for the stimulus bill? Remember, many stimulus provisions are being discussed by the Democrats right now. So maybe that's why they're insisting on such a massive budget. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Last but not least, I really hope that you guys appreciated it all. If you have not already, do like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any future videos and uploads. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe.